always in my life, I always been a go-getter. I play sports. That's what they teach you. Wake up, you got a goal, you go chase it. But that was for me. You know what I mean? What I wanted for my life, and I just go. This is the first time in my life I wake up for other people. I wake up thinking about how can I impact others. I know I'm aligned with my purpose. I'm right where God wants me to be. So it's changed my life. When you align yourself with God, you know what I mean? You can't go wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, William Robinson, coming at you live today from the studios of Talk, Love, and Communication. I believe that all problems, circumstances, situations can be resolved through the proper channels of love and communication. Today we have my special guest, Gilmore Jr. He gonna share some insight what he doing with these young men in our community. And we only got one life to live, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a whole lot easier with love and communication. We want to thank our guest for joining us today, Mr. Gilmore.
Man, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a privilege.
So how's it going there, Mr. Gilmore? You doing all right?
Yes, sir. I'm living. I can't complain. Man, in a great space, and happy to be here. Happy for you to have me. I don't take it granted when anybody invite me to their platform. It's a privilege to be here.
That's right, man. You want to tell my audience a little bit of what you got going on in the community, sir?
Yes, sir. So, Gilmore Jr. I run a local nonprofit called Kut Different, Inc. We're a 501c3 nonprofit geared towards male mentorship. So our mission is to guide young men to own their greatness. So a key word that I said is there. We live in a social media day and age, so everybody is on the social media, and you got trendy things, you got the TikToks, you got all these things, and our kids are being consumed with other people, what other people think is great, and they don't get the time, or they don't get the someone to pour that energy into them to help them figure out what their greatness is. So that's our whole mission, man.
And how do someone qualify? What's the criteria for this organization, sir?
Yeah. So we work with young men 4th to 8th grade. We work in the space of prevention. So most nonprofits, most are react. So a problem happens and people want to jump in and fix the problem. We want to get in front of the problem. That's why we started at 4th grade age. We believe that's young enough for us to be old enough to know right from wrong, and for us to jump in and do what we need to do.
Is this a year-round program, or is it something that's seasonal?
Nah, year-round. So we year-round mentorship. We have 3 programs within our organization. We do after school, so we call it ASC, after school enrichments, in the fall and in the spring. We had the best summer program in the world that you'll ever see. And during the school year, we also in the schools. So we in the schools during the day, and we run an after-school program in the afternoon, and then in the summer, we run a full summer program, the whole summer.
And what exactly the summer program consists of?
Yeah, man. So it's multifaceted. Our summer program it's broken up between we do SEL, with social and emotional learning, focuses on anger management and conflict resolution. We have a gentleman coming out doing computer science and coding with our boys. We also have a millionaire mindset course, which is financial literacy. We do workshops. So we do 8 workshops. So workshops from oil change workshops, tire change workshops, communication workshops, handyman workshops, all different workshops just to introduce our boys to different skills. And then we do exposure trips. So we coined the term, most people say field trips. We call them exposure trips. So it's not about the fun. It's about the exposure. So exposure is a big part of what we do. Exposure has been a big part of my life. So we expose young men to people, places, and things that they normally don't have access to. So taking a person outside of the environment, you can in school, or even your people can, you could be this, you could be that. Your teacher saying, but it's like when you look at it, like, okay, that may be your reality, but that ain't my reality. Because when I go home, I don't see no doctors, I don't see no lawyers. So it's hard for me to see that for myself. So our whole goal is to take these young men outside of the environment to actually show them these things, not just tell them, but show them.
And and that's important, because a lot of things that's common sense to you may not be common sense to the next person.
For sure.
And what your dream was, because you're exposed to certain things, that means your dream and your vision, your outlook on life is only contained to a lower level, because that's all you see.
Right on.
You agree with that, sir?
Yes, sir. For sure. Wholeheartedly.
And who comes up with the activity, these exposure trips? Who decides as far as the activities that they do partake in, sir?
Yeah. So I got my hands on a lot of that stuff when it comes up to figuring out what we're doing, where we're going, how we're doing it. Me and my brother. So this organization was co-founded by me and my big brother, Eddie Rocker. We work hand in hand with figuring out, and we added some new gentlemen. We got Miles McConaughey and a gentleman called named Rory Carter. So we all class together, and it comes as far as putting our program together, when, where, how. We do what we do.
Hey man, I see these young men on your platform, man. These boys dressed to kill, man.
Yeah, got suited up and all, man. We don't play around.
So who come up with this dress code?
Yeah. So that's the lot definitely me and my brother. So when it come up to getting the polos together and telling them, how to look, and that come from that sports background. You look as everybody one band, one sound. You know what I mean? We put it together, and even with those suits, it was something. Last year, I don't know if you ever looked, we had on just button-up shirts and red vest on, but this year we all suited out, so that's the standard now.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Them gentlemen look good, man. You know what I mean? To dress up like that, man, and when you look good, you feel good. Your actions align up. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you see. It's self-perspective, how you see yourself. When them young men look in the mirror and they see this clean-cut young man, people treat you how you look.
For sure.
You go to the hospital, your hair ain't done, you're looking crazy. They have a tendency to treat you like that. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's part of our daily conversation. That's funny you say that. We have a thing we call 6 points of communications that we teach to our boys. So when a young man come into our program, we instill this, we beat this into their mind, the 6 points of communication. And the first one is appearance. So we always talk about the appearance. People, we like to say that we don't judge, but people judge.
Yes, they do.
When you see something, if I tell them all the time, if I came into this room and I had holes in my shirt, I was stinking, y'all wouldn't want to be in here, and I get that, just like when wherever we at and we see somebody that's holy, watch him, he ain't looking right. That's just human nature. But appearance is one. Then we take them by eye contact, so looking the person in the eye when they talking, always. So from the classroom to any conversation. Then we teach them about firm handshake. Having a firm handshake when you're shaking a man's hand, looking him in the eye, and another one is appearance. Body language. So we talking about the body language. We tell them all the time, just like your mouth can talk, your body can talk. You know what I mean? If you slouch down, I can tell it's talking to me. You ain't saying nothing, but your body talking to me, and it's speaking volumes. And then the other one is posture. So we teach them head up, chest out, stomach in. That's something we instill into their head, and then projecting their voice, speaking with conviction. I use this analogy because we work with young men, but I always tell them, we live in a world, you got to be careful what you say. But I always tell them, I don't want to hear you sounding like no little girl. Speak up, talk like a man. Yeah. And so projecting your voice, and then the last one, what I say, I can say body language. Did I say all 6? I think that was 6. But yeah, those are 6 points of communication.
When it come to you say look a man in the eyes, man, you got some big eyes, man.
Yeah,
They be scared to look at. But I tell you what. So tell me, how have this organization affected you professionally and personally, sir?
Yeah, man, because it changed my life. I never been, I guess, in a space of service like I am today. Always in my life, I always been a go-getter. I play sports. That's what they teach you. Wake up, you got a goal, you go chase it. But that was for me. You know what I mean? What I wanted for my life, and I just go. This is the first time in my life I wake up for other people. I wake up thinking about how can I impact others. I know I'm aligned with my purpose. I'm right where God wants me to be. So it's changed my life. When you align yourself with God, you know what I mean? You can't go wrong.
That's right. And how did this come to fruition? How did the idea come about? Yeah. And how did you put it into motion, sir?
Yeah. God. So the idea of Kut Different came about in like I said, I was a student out there. I played sports. So all my life I played sports from the time I was 6 to the time I was 23. That's a long part of your life. So my identity came within the game of football. And so around 2019 is when I finished. So I went to Temple University for 4 years. I had a 5th-year option, and I went out to Illinois, and I played ball out there for 1 year. To make a long story short, I did some other things. I came back to the school where I did my grad work at, and I finished grad school. I graduated, so I got I tell people all the time, sports was my life. I played sports, and then I went and got a master's degree in sports management because I felt like if I wasn't going to play sports, I was going to work in sports. And then I spent some time, I worked with the St. Louis Cardinals for a while, and after working with them, because all my dream was like, I'm going to own the team. And then I went and worked with them, and then I seen it's a ceiling because most professional sports teams, they family owned. So it's only so high you can go till you hit that family. It's like you can't get up in here, you know what I mean? It's a private club, so I ain't like that. So I had to I stepped off from that, and I was like, all right, this ain't for me. I tried some other things. And 2019, man, I was in the phase of, because I'm a black man, I'm young, I got a master's degree, you know, in my mind, I'm suited up, you know, I should be able to do what I want to do. And I kept hitting walls, and things weren't happening my way, the way I wanted them to happen. And I was going into I did a job interview, and that job interview, I just knew I was the right person for that job. I knew they knew. But then I didn't get that job, so I had drove from Illinois to out to Missouri for that interview. And on the way back, you know, I called my mama and I got on the phone with her. And she was saying some things to me in the facet of, you know, some people can feel you and know, you know, or feel threatened, you know, by, you know, who you are, and they don't want to let you in, you know. And then I got back to, you know, where I was in Illinois, and I went to one of my partner's house, and he started saying the same thing my mom was saying, and he was like, man, you know what it is? I was like, dang, my mama just said that. And then he said these words to me. He was like, you know what it is, bro? He was like, we cut different. And he said that to me in that moment. He was like, we cut different. And I was like, I was like, man, I'm going to do something with that. I didn't know what at that time, but I was like, I'm going to do something with that name. And it's funny because I have that moment recorded, like literally, because the dude I was with, I always, like, we be on funny stuff, so I always record him, and he be speaking real stuff. So he like one of them dudes that you just be recording for no reason. But I was recording when he said that. And I was like, man, that's crazy. I'm going to do something with it. You can hear it in the recording. And that's where the name came about. Then I came back home and started volunteering, and then it just took off.
That's great, man. That's a great story. I noticed throughout this conversation that you always was a big dreamer. Mm-hmm. You didn't cap yourself off. You thought big and greater than most individuals. And where did you get that from, sir? Yeah,
I always wanted more, man. Always, when you hear that name, Kut Different, I always felt different, like literally. Like when I was a child growing up, even being from Ocala, Florida, being around my homeboys, I ain't never felt better than nobody, but I just felt like I was just different. You know, I didn't want to do what y'all was doing. You know, I was always like I ain't have a group, but it's just certain things I would do, certain things I didn't do. I always felt I was like, even with cats hanging out and stuff at the club, not say I didn't go to the club, but it was just certain. I'm not going to the club every weekend. You know, it was just, and I think it was sports that gave me that level of thinking, because it was always, I never wanted to do anything to tarnish what I had, the blessing God had placed me with. You know what I mean? I know I got a ticket out of here. You know what I mean? I can't mess this up by being at the party or being out. So I just always felt different. So when I say that, I just always thought about things. So the average young man, he ain't really thinking about what he doing. I always thought about what I was doing, you know, to make sure I wasn't putting myself in harm's way.
You know, I believe that football is a great sport, and it teaches you a lot about life. Mm-hmm. Teach you discipline. It gives you structure. Mm-hmm. It teaches you teamwork. You know, you keep coming back to this football. So let's back this thing up a little bit. So what position did you play? What high school did you play for? And just how good was Jamie Gilmore Jr.?
Yeah, man. So I went to North Marion High School. I played running back. I went to North Marion High School, and I was pretty good. I was pretty good, man. I had a great career, high school career. You know, when I came out, I played varsity my freshman year. My older brother was the starting running back at that time, so I played behind him. And as soon as he left that my sophomore year, I took it over, and from then it was what it was after that.
Okay, so you started on varsity as a sophomore.
Yeah.
And back then they had freshman, JV, and sophomore, correct?
For sure.
Okay, you doing your little one too.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me your most memorable game in high school.
I got a lot, but the one that just kind of first, I'm gonna speak on this because the first one came to mind. It was my first one of my sophomore year. Because it was, if you're familiar with St. Augustine, so St. Augustine, you know, that's around with Tim Tebow and them. They went to Nice, but St. Augustine is just a big school. They always win the state championships. North Marion and St. Augustine got a big history going playing each other in like the game before the state championship, and they kept putting North Marion out. And so we had them the first game of the year, and that's my sophomore year. And going into that year, everybody's already questioning me. I was small. I was real small, and it was North Marion to that point. They never had, I guess, like a running back that young or that small that had to take over the reins. So they're like, man, can he do this all year? Can he take the punishment? Blah, blah, blah. So it was so many talks of what could I do? And so at that moment I had to prove myself, man. In that game, I proved myself. It was like that moment, like I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm him and I'm here. So it was that moment.
You know, North Marion always had the great Lorenzo Bagley and Robert Johnson, some big running backs. You felt any pressure?
Nah, cause I really ain't know the history of North Marion. We moved out that way, and I really ain't know cause I'm young, so all that stuff was old. You know, it's a lot of cats out here nowadays. I even heard it's funny. I heard the gentleman. I heard his name before, but it made me like ask about him because I seen him on your podcast, and not your part. You did a little interview with him, Tony Cason or whatever. So I heard his name before, but it never really And then I heard and then I heard Coach Jones say something about him. So I was like, he must be being real deal. But some of that stuff be so far removed. You don't even just like me. Like some kids that's growing up now, they ain't gonna be like, man, who this cat is? I ain't know about him.
Who is Jamie Gilmore?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but luckily we got the YouTubes and stuff. Like them cats right there ain't. You're right. Them cats right there ain't have. So I guess they ain't got no stuff. You can go Google them or nothing on.
So who was your toughest competition within the area here? You know, when you prepared for him, it was a certain linebacker out there that was
individual person or a team.
Individual person.
I really ain't. It's no person. I guess because if you're a receiver, you can remember a cornerback you lined up against. When I was coming back we didn't have no real. Well, I don't feel we had no linebackers. That was just that dude. The linebacker that dude was on my team, so my toughest was in practice. Devin Brand, I don't know if he graduated a year before me. He went up to Coastal Western Michigan, then he played at Coastal Carolina. But he was that dude. So my toughest challenges came in practice, not when we so games came easy because I had to practice against him.
Well, you better be glad you weren't playing back in '92. You had to face me, man.
I was gonna mess with you about that, man. When you ain't never told me you played ball. If you did, I don't remember. But we was at the Vanguard game and I seen you, and I was having conversations with somebody. I forget who it was, but having conversations on the fence with somebody, and we just started talking about sports, and then somebody mentioned you because you had that, and I'm pretty sure you do that for a reason. Got the highlighter color on, the highlighter green on, and they spotted you across the thing, and then they was like, they were saying because they were like people can't record because they on the Miami side they was messing with somebody because they were recording, but they were like, man, that fell over there recording. And then the dude beside me, whatever he knew he was, he said, nah, that's Will. Then they got into it, like, man, he was a bad linebacker back in the day. I said, yeah, man, that cat ain't told me. He said he was a bad. I said, okay, I'm gonna ask him about that next time I see him, man. So tell me about yourself. What you was doing?
I did my little 1-2. I was teasing Coach Farmer with Vanguard.
Okay.
He was introducing me to the kids.
And
he was telling them that I was the second best linebacker. Me and him graduated together.
Okay.
And I was telling him that, don't forget I made first team and you made second team.
Okay.
And it was rare for a defender to get so much recognition. I was one of the few defenders that, always on the front page. That year we had Amir Brooks from Vanguard High School. He was pretty good, but as a defender, I got a lot of attention. You know what I mean? But like you yourself at the time, I was a little small. Back then you had the Miamis and the Florida States and the Michigans, they all come, but
overlooking.
Yeah, but no, they came and checked me out. But you got Daytona Seabreeze. They got a guy 6'2", 220.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11", 185, 190. They feel like the other man got the bigger upside. You know what I mean? So, I played pretty good, pretty minimal. I also coached in the county for a few years. Also, I'm looking to get back into that.
Where you coached at?
At the Forest.
Okay.
At the Forest High School. Yeah. Wildcats all the way. You know that.
Yeah. You spend a lot of time with Vanguard talking about Wildcats all the way, man.
Hey, man, I love the kids, man. My goal is to have an ESPN channel for the county. If I could go to each school, get a little footage throughout the week, interview the coach, a couple of players, and come back and put it all together. Each coach send me the top 10 plays from the week they played previously. And I'll expound on that week and then the game that they have coming up.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little sports channel. That's one of my
That's good stuff.
My goals, So where do you see Kut Different in the next 3 years, sir?
Man, worldwide, we have a saying now. I always say 3-5-2 to international. It's my goal to get our boys outside of here and take them international to see the world beyond, man. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than what our city got to offer, and I want our boys to see that. We're gonna start expanding this thing and be in every middle school and elementary school in Marion County, and just more exposure, more opportunities. 3 years we'll have some boys about ready to graduate high school. So the oldest kid we got is in a sophomore in high school. So 3 years he'll be in graduate. So we'll have him in college or working a good job somewhere, and then start seeing the benefits of the work. We see them now, but our goal, we say we're building a school to career pipeline. So I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the school to prison pipeline. There's statistics out there that shows our boys statistically are leaving school and being pushed into the prison, the penitentiaries, and what we're doing, we combating that, and we're gonna get these boys all the game, the guidance, attention, motivation, and education that they need to send them off into to be successful and going to somebody college campus or going to start their career.
What is your most proudest moment in life thus far?
Proudest moment in life thus far. A lot be my little brother. My little brother like my son. I feel like that. But seeing him accomplish things, that'd be my most proudest thing. And nothing individual. Seeing my mom and them smile. I love making my parents happy. I love seeing my mom and daddy smile. And my little brother. I love my big brother too, but my little brother, that's like my child, man. So yeah. So my proudest moment is just seeing my little brother, like seeing him playing college ball, living out his dream. And seeing him, graduate high school and all that stuff, my proudest moments.
Has there ever been a time in your life where you felt alone and lonely?
At the time I didn't know, but looking back, in college, man, I experienced that. It's like I wasn't lonely like I wasn't around people. I was around people. I was lonely in the sense that I wasn't expressing to the people I was around how I needed them. Again, I was being the tough guy. You get in that sports world, mentality tough, nothing bothering me. It's a lot of experience that I had, through my grandfather dying and just different things happening. And I just, wouldn't express myself how I really was feeling, or even when it came to sports. You know what I mean? Sports not going the way I wanted, and being up there way in, Philly, all my folk from down here. I don't got no family, real. I got my teammates and stuff, but I don't got, my mom and my daddy up there. So seeing my mom and daddy two times a year, you know what I mean? A lot of that stuff psychologically, it was at the time, because it was what it was. And I had the attitude. It is what it is, you know what I mean? We was built with that. We was born to, it is what it is, keep going, you know what I mean? So
and it's funny you say that, with most of my audience know, I was in prison for 18 years. Mm-hmm. And like you say, you went off to college. Either way it go, you're alone.
For sure.
It's not like you could just get in the car and go around the block and see mom, go see dad. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people don't know what it's like to be separated from your family, from the people that you love. Mm-hmm. And I commend you, for you to go off to college and you being separated by choice.
Yeah.
Because you can easily just go back home.
Right.
But the drive and the fight within you and to see the big picture, you wanted something greater than yourself to see the smile on their face. You know what I'm saying? So sacrifice is so important with all things, and I know that you talked earlier about the body language and all these forms of communication. Mm-hmm. How important is communication in our everyday life, sir?
Man, very important, because we always talking, or we always trying to get a point across, and I think so much conflict comes from miscommunication. You know what I mean? If we were able to have a direct line of communication, from the sender to the receiver, it'll make life so much easier. So much conflict and stuff come from people just not being on the same page. That's so right. with learning how to communicate with each other, it'll help so many more people out.
What is your most biggest regret?
College. So playing sports, and I talk about this a lot, and I definitely talk to my boys about it a lot. My biggest regret, if I had to point one, was when I was in college football, and that is what it is, the attitude. So coming from the South, or just coming from, a home where people taught you how to respect your elders. I played sports for so long, so your coach is your coach. You don't disrespect your coach. And I took that mentality to college with me, which is right, but it shifts. You know, this ain't high school football. This is a business at this point, and I wasn't in that mindset. So in college ball, yeah, but just like I'm here for a reason, the coach is here for a reason. You know what I mean? So everybody got their own agendas, and you got to know that. You know what I mean? So when you play high school ball, there's somebody out here that giving their time because they care. You know what I mean? But when you get to college ball, there's people here because they feeding their family with this, and they gonna do whatever they think to feed their family. And if you ain't part of it, they gonna X you out. You know what I mean? And I waited. You know, it took me too long to tap into that. You know, and that come with exposure as well, because I didn't have nobody to feed me that game. My dad ain't play college ball. I didn't have. You know what I mean? We all was learning. You know, and so that mentality I walked around. So I let my coaches, I ain't gonna say tarnish my career, but play with my career in a sense. You know, I let them just teeter with me, you know, do little slick little stuff with my career and not like speak on it. Like going his office, like, hey bro, what's going on? Like, you brought me here for this, let's do this or I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Standing on business. And at that moment, but that turned me into the businessman I am today, because I always, through that experience, I always said I never put myself in a position where somebody had that much control or power over me. And
as you sit here today, do you still believe that Jamie Gilmore Jr. had what it takes to make it to the next level?
At professional sports?
Yes, sir.
For sure. And again, I play running back, so I'm happy that I did it, because running backs mean nothing in the league, and I'm a small back too, so I would have probably been one of them. I could play with them guys, but they just throw you around. You know what I mean? You're back, they ain't gonna pay you no money. They're gonna throw you around, and you know, as soon as the next year coming new back in, you know, so that I'm glad I didn't have to go through that and deal with that. But for sure, I was able to play with them guys for sure.
And you know, and that's the kind of belief that you try to instill in these kids. Mm-hmm. Even though it didn't work out, you know that it could have.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you never give up on your dream, even as you sit here today. You know the possibilities has dwindled due to other things that you have going on in your life, but you still believe in your heart, and that's where it starts, in your heart. If you believe it, you can receive it and achieve it. You agree with that, sir?
Yes, sir.
So when you think about the kids, you know, what's the greatest joy? Man, when you see them all, man, it just makes me smile, man. Every time I see them kids, I just seen them walking down the red carpet, man. Them boys cleaning their suit, man. Everybody stepping. And you had the shortest one at the back stepping, man. You know, it just feels so good, man. I just smile every time I see them, man.
Yeah. So just seeing them, like you say, that same thing, seeing them, moments like that, though, being in that banquet format, being able to let them showcase their talents of what they've been working hard, and for other people to get to see them and, you know that, you know, it's young men that's out here that's trying to be the change that we need, you know, be the future, and they molding themselves, and they coming committed. And just comparing it to sports as well, we the same. I tell our boys the same thing. The same way you know, when you want to be a good athlete, you go in there, you go to practice, or you go outside with your cones and you put in the work to become that. Same thing with becoming a great human or a great man. You got to put in the work. You got to put your boots on every day, and you got to practice these skills just like you practice them skills. You just don't build a habit of being disciplined or being committed just by, you got to do these things. You know what I mean? So again, with the parents, the projecting your voice, the eye contact, being able to read, talk in person. What the word I'm looking for? Professional speaking is what comes to mind. But what you talking about when you speak in front of people? It's a word I'm looking for.
Lecture?
No, man. What you? God, it's gonna kill me. I'm gonna think of it. But anywho, just being able to talk in public speaking is what I'm thinking of. So being able to public speak and just different things. So that takes a lot. So we practice those things, and sitting up in your chair. You know, when they in our room, we don't play that. Hey, sit up. Put your chair, you know what I mean? Look me in my eye, you know what I mean? Don't say we don't play around with those things, and we hit them. For them, it may seem like, man, come on, and we don't play them games. You know, we sharpening their tools.
You know, and being in this position, you find yourself a lot of times in a lot of the kids' life, almost as if you may be the only father figure that they have. Sure. How important is that to you, and do you realize that, sir?
Yeah, man. But anybody probably out of all our boys we have, I probably only met 2 dads. Out of the whole crew, and I know personally, because when our boys are getting in trouble, I'm getting the calls. You know what I mean? I'm the one that, or my, you know, the mentors that the moms reaching out to. So I know the spot that we hold, or when the boys going through something, and they call and they, you know what I mean. So you ask that question, and people ask me a lot, do I have kids? I'm like, yeah, I got a lot of kids. You know what I mean? I got a lot of them, and I truly feel that way, as if they are my own. I love them in that way, as if they are my own. I do anything for our boys. But again, it's just aligning them. Even like suspension, just got a call, today on the ride over here that one of our boys got suspended. So that's, want to get them calls, as a mom, we got to handle that. You're going to have to see me, you know what I mean? But it's just that accountability. We just holding these boys to a higher standard.
Okay, so when we think about the future, when we talk about kids, is there gonna be a Jamie Gilmore the third somewhere soon?
Sure.
Coming up soon here.
Sure, and I'm glad you said the third, because that's exactly what he gonna be. He gonna keep the name alive. That's exactly what he gonna be, for sure, man. I'm definitely the young lady I'm with right now, though, man. I do plan to make her my wife. I've been with my girl for 3 years now, and I can't complain, man. I love her, and she gonna be my wife, and we gonna do that for sure.
But go on, look at that camera and give her a shout out, man. She can see you.
What's up, wifey? So that's Rashonda Mitchell, Boo Boo, Bay, all that. What's up?
All that good stuff. That's what I call mine.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Sugar Woogle.
Sugar Woogle. Okay.
Sugar Woogle, yeah, man. We got all the Sugar Woogles and all this stuff, man. Okay, so if you could talk to your younger self, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Be yourself. Simple as that. Be yourself. When I was young, man, it's so funny because I had my own identity, but I can remember times even back when I'm still trying to do something to fit in, and I can only imagine that kid that don't have their own identity, how so far they going left to fit in. You know what I mean? I always had sports, so I was you're good at sports from a young age. You already put on especially in our community, you put on a pedestal. So I was already given that throne, for lack of better words, but I still found myself trying to be a tough or whatever, just going out my way to show, hey, all right, don't play with me or whatever, things that's unnecessary. So just being yourself, man. Be you, stay in your own lane, and that's going to open up so many more opportunities for you. So
when you think about this young lady that you love so much now, how have your past failures in relationships helped you in this current relationship?
Yeah, all, and I ain't had many exes, but my past has made me who I am now. You know what I mean? Being able to see, okay, that one, okay, that didn't work with that didn't work, okay, and meshing it all together to be able, not saying I'm perfect now, still trying to learn, this one out, because everybody different, but, being able to know those things, and that's with anything, like you fell in the test, you're like, okay, I can't do that, or like you're trying to ride a bike or whatever, I can't do that, until you finally get that thing rolling. So that's all it is. But just try to fix yourself, man. We in a constant state of evolution, man, and just staying on the path of trying to be a better you. Every day I wake up trying to be a better me in all facets of my life.
Okay, growing up, what your nickname was?
JJ.
JJ.
Jamie Jr.
Jamie Jr. Man, I was looking through some stuff, man. I seen a picture of you and your dad, man.
Yeah, where? On Facebook?
Yes, I'm talking about, man. You talking about somebody. I don't know if Romita had this man or Jamie had this man, but boy, this boy looked just like Jamie Gilmore.
Yes, sir.
And that's important, to look at your dad. And outside of just the outer appearance, how do you see yourself within your dad when you look at him?
Yeah, I'm his son. I can't deny it. It's funny, I see some stuff he do and I just laugh. I be like, man, I be doing the same stuff. Or it's funny, like some stuff I hear my mama say about him. My girl have been on, about me. It's just to say, I was like, man, it's crazy, that genetic thing, boy, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. So it's funny to see, but knowing my dad, man, and that's, my best friend. So the relationship I have with my dad, who my dad is for me, who my dad always been for me, is man, and sometimes that makes me sad, man, knowing that my boys don't have that, they don't have that person, you know what I mean? Even them tough times I was telling you, I always had my dad. Even being in Philly, like you were saying, I can't get, man, when I was going through a tough time up there, I'll never forget, I got a call from my dad. It's late, it's probably about 11 at night. He talking about come outside. I said, come outside? What you mean? I go outside. He up there in Philly. You know what I mean? I ain't even know he was, he just popped up there in Philly. But little stuff like that came in, but little stuff like that, man, that's what my dad always been for me. He always going to be there.
And how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
1,500 miles away, you walk out the door dead there. How does it make you feel?
Different feeling. Because, again, in that moment, he knew it. I guess he could hear it in my voice. Like he say, I guess that time when I talked to him, I guess he said, I heard it in your voice. You need it. So he ain't like I said, he was there. And that was, I talked to him earlier that day. He there that night. You know what I'm saying? That's a day, just jumping on the plane and coming up. But I mean, the world, dog.
That's special, man.
You can't replace that.
Man, shout out to Jamie Gilmore Sr., man.
Yes,
I love you, bro. That's great fatherhood, man. That's great parenting skills. You know what I mean? And how important do you think it is to have your mother and your father together your entire life?
Yeah. It meant a lot because it showed you, man. And you see it. You see the inside, and it ain't easy. You see the ups, the downs. You see everything. So as a young man, it allows me to see how important the family is. Because my parents never put themselves above our family. They knew what they needed to do for us. And and I ain't trying to speak for them, but I know they got through a lot of their differences for us, for their kids. And that type of love is different. You get what I'm saying? So even some differences they may have had, they may have stuck it out, for us, for their boys. And again, that's what family about. Family about it ain't about you. It's bigger than you. Once you make that commitment to join forces, you know what I mean? It's the mission, it's the goal, it's where we're trying to go, bigger than your individual self.
I noticed you said with that kind of love. And when you think of love, what's your definition of love?
Man, love is, man, that's a good question. When I think of love, I think of words to put the love. It's just unconditional, man. Like love is putting others, putting someone else before yourself. Love is just being able to truly, just care for someone else. And like I say, truly care for someone else more than you care for yourself. When I hear love, that's when I just say that. Love, like caring for someone more than you care for yourself.
So if I was to wrap that up in one word, if I said sacrifice, would you agree with that?
For sure. Big sacrifice.
Big sacrifice.
Big sacrifice. Compromise, yeah.
Being able to see someone else's perspective and understand that I may not agree with it, but that doesn't mean I have to go against it.
Right on.
You understand what I'm saying? But we are, I was talking to Dr. Darryl Talbert. He go through marriage. He a marriage counselor, and he was saying it's like two different people have these suitcases, and I come with my suitcase, she come with her suitcase, and we get married. Now we get home and we open our suitcase, and I said, "Well, I didn't know you had that in there." She said, "Well, I didn't know you had that in there." But that's where marriage counseling come in at. Back in the days, you heard older people talk about courting, and that's when you found out all these things. Right. You know what I mean? Because in the beginning, we are hunters. We are visual creatures. Sure. It's mostly lust at first until we fall in love. Yeah. What's your perspective on that?
Nah, you're right. You're right. Guys, I tell her all the time, my girl, we do. And I feel men don't walk around like that love. I don't really believe in the love at first sight type of stuff. Like you lust at first sight. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if she ain't ain't no man looking at nothing that don't catch his eyes. You get what I'm saying? In my opinion, my humble opinion. So it's lust at first sight. That woman caught you because she looked the part, and then you figured the rest out after.
Okay, tell my audience how you met your lovely future wife.
Yeah. So we went to high school together, and I went to college, and we didn't communicate. I ain't seen her since I left high school, and when I moved back, we bumped into each other in the mall. When I seen her in the mall, I kind of threw like a little hint out there at her, like, I'm back. You know what I mean? Like that. And, because I thought she had a dude at the time. I didn't know. I was like, I'm back. And after that, shortly, because that was around the time of my birthday, around the time she like Snapchat, she hit me on like Snapchat on my birthday to tell me happy birthday. And I just like some slick remark, like, man, I thought you was hit me saying you was ready to go on this date or something like that. And then we just went from there, but just bumped into her in the mall.
So basically, game recognized game.
Recognized. She knew what she was doing when she was writing me.
So you had your little LL Cool J game on, huh? I feel you.
She had hers on. She the one trying to, spot me out. Like and I laugh because I'm pretty sure you familiar on Facebook. Facebook tells you when it's somebody's birthday. So I know that's how she found out it was my birthday. But she had to leave that platform because most people just write on your Facebook and say happy birthday. She left that platform to go on another platform to make it more private, to say happy birthday. She knew what she was doing. She could have said it right there on Facebook.
I think Snapchat, the one where you could like delete it in 60 seconds or something like that.
Delete it, but it is like a direct inbox more so than putting it. Facebook is like on a wall. And,
everybody can see it.
Yeah.
You want to send shout out to the great Jamie Gilmore Jr. I feel you on that. Hey man, it's just like anything else in life. You got to go after what you want.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You can't fault her, can you?
I know.
You glad she something?
I'm glad she did her thing.
That's right. That's right. Amen for that. I tell you what, brother. You know we know you are a teacher. Mm-hmm. You find yourself in a teacher's position because you are inputting into these young men's lives. What are the single most important quality to be an effective teacher?
Consistency. A lot of people come and go. A lot of people not the same person they were from day to day. So it's being consistent, showing up and being consistent. Like, I'm here, I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna be the same person. I'm gonna give you good. I'm not gonna come here and have a bad morning and come in here and you feel my bad morning. I'm gonna be the same person. I came with the same energy because I'm in the point of my life where I can control my emotions, and I'm dealing with somebody that can't. So I have to be the standard. I have to show you what I'm trying to preach to you. Be the example that I'm trying to get to you. So consistency is the biggest thing. Being who you trying to get him to be. That young man to be. Right. Be a living example, role model for sure.
What about faith? Do you incorporate any type of faith into your program, sir?
For sure. We stay prayed up. Stay prayed up all the time on man of God. So you man of God, you come in with your faith. So it's from praying before we do stuff. If they going through something, I'm gonna pray over them. And we don't have. So it's not like we have Bible classes or anything like that. But we stay prayed up, and we stay talking about the power of God for sure.
So when you speak of the faith, you're talking about Christianity.
Christianity, yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jesus Christ, man.
Jesus Christ, yes, sir.
Our Lord and Savior. Shout out to big shout out to Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And that's so important because even after this, and when these young men grow into men, faith and having that foundation, it'll carry them so far in life. You know what I mean? Through all situations, circumstances. You know what I mean? To have that faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Even after the days, and hopefully these young men, and they'll grow up and take unto you, and they will start a program and be able to help others in the community.
Right.
Have you ever, during this time, have you experienced from the parents, have the parents expressed their gratitude towards you?
Man, multiple times, man. We have it, you can go on our social medias on YouTube. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, Kut Different. But we got testimonials. We got testimonials from our parents speaking about what we meant to them. And that means a lot as well, too. And I should have mentioned that earlier. Parents committing to us, and then you seeing how we're being beneficial to them or how we fill in that gap for them. That means a lot to what we do because we're here for the parents. And so, yeah, we get that a lot, if it's through personal calls or, like I say, on the testimonial content that we do have.
Okay. So, upon your first time meeting me, would you like to share with my audience the first time you met me, sir?
Yeah. So, I met you, we're at Toastmasters. So, I'm a part of a Toastmaster club, Toast in Ocala, here in Ocala, Florida. And this gentleman was invited by a mutual friend, Mr. Jonathan Hernandez, and when he came in, he was looking at me, and he when I got up, and I'm pretty sure I got up and speak, but he said, "Yeah, I know your daddy," or something like that. He said, "I know your daddy," or whatever it was. I was like, "Oh yeah," and then that was during, but we was in the middle of the meeting, so we kept the meeting going, and shortly after the meeting, I came up to you, said, "Yeah, my pops," and then we kicked it off like that.
Yeah, when I first seen him, I was thinking, Jamie Gilmore ain't. This man don't age at all. And you like, hey man, I'm the junior, man. I'm like, okay, well, somebody tell me something, How have your perspective of me changed from that day to now?
Yeah. So, and this real talking, I was going, I briefly said it to you, and I really mean it, man. So, your commitment to this, so many times, people, man, you come out, how many times I hear people say what they're going to do, how they want to, hey, bro, I'm trying to da-da-da-da, I want to do a nonprofit, da-da-da-da. And your commitment to this, man, and it really hit me. I found your stuff. It just hit me on YouTube or Facebook. It just ran across my situation. I said, oh, this Will. clicked on that, and then I just start scrolling through your content. I see you in the grocery store and everywhere getting it in. You got your brand, and I was like, man, that means so much because I love to see people, especially your circumstances. I'm gonna ask you a question next, but to know the situation you come out of, to come with that drive and not that victim mentality, and that's a lot of stuff I'm trying to even with my community work and with my boys, man. I so many people, man, take that victim mentality, let the circumstances of where they come from victimize them and point the fingers at other people instead of taking charge and taking advantage of what they do have, life. You know what I mean? Yeah. We got life, bro. We woke up this morning. How can we be complaining? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you don't lost partners. I don't like homeboys that close to me, and that drives me. Like, man, this man dead. Like, I'm here. Like, why can I complain? So even from that, big kudos to you. Like, seriously, for doing what you're doing and spreading love. Even the brand of TLC. That's so that love, communication, all that means so much. And what you're doing, you're spreading a mentality. You're spraying, you're telling people, I hear your thing, I don't know if anybody told you William Robinson love you. Like, that stuff means a lot, bro. You out there telling folk you love them. You don't know what them people going through that day, how it can help them. So from the beginning to now, again, I don't judge, you told me situation, so I got to figure a man out. I give a man a chance to prove itself to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was figuring out, now you just, from what you told me to who you are now, you just proved that you're a stand-up guy to me.
I appreciate it. I remember one time I went to the Dollar Tree, and there was an elderly lady in there. I believe in edifying people, and that means to build them up, And she was an elderly lady, and I said, ma'am, your hair is beautiful. And the lady pretty much just, as she was talking to me, she started crying. She was like, you don't know what that means to me. She said, really? You think so? I said, yes, ma'am, your hair's beautiful. Little natural curls. And she was like, she proceeded to tell me a story that her sister's husband, pit bulls, mauled her and bit her in the head and the face area. And she lost all her hair, and she had to have surgery on her head and everything. And for me to come and say that to her meant so much to her. It's just simple words, just simple passing through. Mm-hmm. It's so important. Sometimes I ask family members, wives, husbands, anybody told you they love you today? Yeah. They say, actually, no one told me today. I was like, well, what's wrong with Uncle? What's wrong with him? Yeah. What's wrong with your son, your daughter? And that's so important. Yeah. When me and my wife open our eyes, the first word I mumble is Jesus. Mm-hmm. The second word is, I love you. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's so important because it's so rare. Mm-hmm. Even being in prison, just imagine being in prison with all these egos. Mm-hmm. And I would go up to me and say, man, anybody told you they love you today, man? Yeah. William Robinson loves you. Yeah. And some of these young men call me right now. I sit down and I used to tell them, they say, well, man, I don't heard this so many years, man. Everybody say that, man, they go home, man, they forget about it. I say, well, don't you never forget the name William Robinson. Mm-hmm. Because I was preaching Jesus to them. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people without hope. So how can I explain to them Jesus and I turn my back on them and they'll never believe it? Yeah. I may be the one man to make them see. I may have been the only light, small glimpse of Jesus that they seen. Sure. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's important, man, to let a person know that you love them. I had a gentleman share with me that he said, man, my family, they send me money, man, but they don't come see me. Yeah. They can keep the money. Mm-hmm. Come see me. I'd rather see them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a person saying, I love you, but don't show you, mm-hmm. versus the person who never said, but shows you. Yeah. How do you think? Do you think that goes hand in hand, or you think that you can have one without the other? You can have one, just how you just put it. I believe, again, somebody can say they love you, but if they're not showing it, you can keep, like bro saying, then that goes like a great example, that money. You can keep that, man. Come show me you love me. Yeah. Be here for me. And you get what I'm saying? But it's always, and that's going further than the question, but I about to say it's always two sides to the token. You never know why they not coming, or blah, blah, blah. They got their own, but to your point, show me. And it's the sacrifice. Yeah. See, some people okay, I may have loads of money. So for me to send you money, it means nothing.
Yeah.
But for me to drive 2 hours to see you, I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that sacrifice because I can only see you on the weekend and I have something to do on my Saturday. You understand what I'm saying? So sacrifice is so important, man. You know, and to me, if you ask me what's love in one word, I'm going to say sacrifice. Sacrifice. I like that. You know, because sacrifice is willing to put someone else before yourself. Yeah. That's right. Someone else.
That's basically what I was saying. But I do want to, man, I want to ask you a question, man. So you did 18 years, right?
Yes, sir.
So how, you know what I mean? Hey, that's a long time, bro. Long time. Are you familiar with Wallow 267?
Yes, the Meeting All the Game, the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you know he did the 20 years or whatever, and so y'all, I was about to introduce him, but anywho, definitely should follow his footprints. But what I'm getting at, so how did that situation mold you to be who you are now, and do you think that situation saved you in a sense from whatever?
Yes, because I went from Big Pete to William. You know, I was born William Robinson, but my lifestyle in the world, I conformed to this Big Pete fella. You know, like you said, we raised aggressive. You know, instead of going in there, see me, I probably went in there and hollered at coach. Man, you tripping? Yeah. You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was raised with the respect. You know, but hey, my mom always taught me, son, when you right, you right, but when you wrong, you know, I'm sorry, when you're wrong, son. But when you right, you fight. And if I feel within my twisted mind, my mind frame at the time, is something not going the way that it should, I always spoke up. You know, so that was a lot of my aggression. But going to prison, I think the key ingredient was for me being able to sit still long enough for the Lord to reach me. Because once I knew the Lord, I saw a lot of times where he tried to intervene, but I was just mule-headed. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't have to go to prison. And I don't think that I deserve the 18 years, but I understand that I put myself in that situation. That goes back to when you were saying earlier, I don't have the victim mentality. The police, the prosecutor, the judge, I met none of these people for 29 years. I put myself, even though they may have been corrupt or whatever you want to say in their own right, but I allowed myself to be in that situation. And that's why I try to push to the kids and anyone in life choices. That's why I talk so hard about communication, because I didn't know how to communicate properly. You have childhood trauma, you have things that we push aside. You know, that loneliness in college, man, I don't want to say it to nobody, I don't want to share it. So you internalize it. And then when the smallest thing happens, it blows up. And I learned the anger management, that's called the volcano man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we turn into the volcano man, the silent man, the invisible man. All these are attributes of anger management, so to speak, and not understanding how to communicate properly, you know. But man, I'm gonna tell you, my walk in prison, I've been home a little over a year and a half, and I look at myself and all that has taken place, and I say, man, you was gone for 18 years. I can't even comprehend it. You understand what I'm saying?
So being in there, did you truly like, man, I'm in here forever? Or did you feel like it kind of went by, I ain't gonna say fast, because I know it ain't go by fast, but did it feel like 18 years when you really think back to it?
You know, Jamie, as I sit here, man, you know, a lot of words like depression is bad to our community. You know, we don't use those words. And I'll be a fool to think that 18 years of prison and the mentality is wiped away within a year and a half. You know, as much as I struggle with certain things, the ability to, I can tell you right now, I love you and mean it from my heart. But if you decide to come against me and I try to make it better, but your mind is made up, I'm able to it's like a switch. Because in prison, I had to focus on survival. As much as I love my family, I got up in the morning, I prayed for my family, and I literally had to leave it in God's hand. I can't be worrying about, oh, mama say the dog died or such and such got suspended from school, because you got people all around you doing some heinous things, you know, and you have to be on point. You understand what I'm saying? So really, it taught me to really trust in God. But it also, it's a part of me I didn't want to come home with, and that was the ability to turn that switch. Just, you know, and sometimes, you know, I struggle with that. My kids say, well, Daddy, you know, sometimes you have a nonchalant attitude. It's not that I don't care, but I truly understand that I can't make Jamie do anything. You are an adult. All I can do is give you my opinion. If you say no, you mean no.
Right.
I don't try to convince you otherwise. You understand what I'm saying? It's only so far I can go. Even you mentoring the kids, you know, you have a structure. You have to have structure within your program. And if you have a kid that's just out of line and he just buck, sometimes as much as you love that kid, you have to remove him from that structure before it taints the others. Now, you may still work with him from the side, but you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I've done it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, and I think that's a long time, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, I was just so, what drugs? 18?
No, sir. Anger management.
Okay.
It was a domestic dispute that got out of hand. You know, like I say, most of it I did do.
Yeah.
Some of it a little amped up, you know, as far as, you know, the charges and things of that nature. But the worst part of it I did. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of glad it turned out the way it did, because I don't know what would have happened.
Sure.
You know, and I believe that God was delivering me from myself. You know, if I would have just done 5 years, maybe I wouldn't be the man I am today. But see, it's so embedded in me now. This is me. I don't have to think about it. I have to force myself to do wrong.
Yeah.
You know, my nature is right now. My nature is what's right. You know, I've never been easily conformed to what someone else think, but I'm on the right side. It don't matter if mama wrong. Mama, you're wrong. I'm not taking mom's side because the sake that she's mom.
Right.
I'm taking God's side because he's right. And even in my life and in my marriage and moving forward in all relationships, you know, it boils down to, well, what did God say? A lot of times, you know, my every thought, man, you know, I'm so conscious of every decision I make, because before I thought, well, it's just me. I can do what I want to do. I'm grown. I'm the one got to go to prison. What you worried about it for? You ain't got to go to prison.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't understand how it affected so many other people. You understand what I'm saying? My children grew up without a father.
Yeah.
I mean, and it affects them to this day. It affects our relationship to this day. You know what I mean? And so I'm just so conscious of the decisions I make now.
Yeah.
And I think my everyday life is a sacrifice. Even me being in my situation with my disability, you know, it's certain things that came natural to me I just refuse to do. I'd just be disabled with a dime in my pocket before I do other things. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't even come to my mind. Yeah. It's not even a thought because of the man that I am today.
Yeah. That's what's up. Did you? How old were you left?
Excuse me?
How old were you when you went off?
29.
29 when you left. That's what's up. So yeah, how many kids you have?
3 kids.
3 kids.
At the time, there was 10, 2, and about 9, 10 months.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's crazy. So are your kids close? Like,
you know, and that what hurts me more than anything. You know, they're not close with each other.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm the factor. You know, and I did something, you know, that I never wanted. I never wanted my kids from different parents. And each one of my kids have a different mother. You know, and you being married to one and the other one's mistress. So it's kind of like, you know, the little hidden beef or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But they have matured, and I respect these women so much because they done something that I never thought that would happen. that I would not raise my kids. The only way for me not to raise my kids is for something like that to happen.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, Jamie, my circumstances is, to me, in my twisted mind at the time, it was for the love of my kids. Because the love that I have, it turned me into, I tried to force my hand in a situation because I wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important for fathers to understand, man, it's so, if you love the child, sometimes you have to let them go to gain them.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And, every relationship is not meant to be together. We go into these situations lasting forever. But sometimes that's not the case, and that's where I fell short. My mind frame at the time grew up. It's important, this music that we listen to today, man, because, I grew up in the JT Money, Too Short,
Mm-hmm.
Trick Daddy, so it kind of fashioned my mind the way I should handle certain things,
Oh, wow.
and it'll wind you right up in prison. Like this kill music now, and they shoot them, and, and these women, the women rappers teach them to twerk this, and you don't have no respect for themselves, and you see the results, you know what I mean?
You're right about that. That's tough though, man. That's a long time, but I commend you, bro, to do, go through that and be who you are today and where you're at today. That's very commendable, because you still could be in that, cause shoot, you talking about 18s, I don't know the situation or what happened, but that's a long time for that. That's why I instantly thought drugs or something, man. I thought you was moving weight up the turnpike or something, man.
And man, I never had a speeding ticket.
Yeah. So you didn't have no priors before then?
No priors, no speeding ticket. See, it's almost as if, the system sometimes, you see people go to jail 10 times and ain't done much time as me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't think that I don't blame the criminal system because I allowed myself to be put in that situation. I think I had to go through that to be the man that I am. Yeah. I don't believe God make mistakes. Neither did the children of Israel have to take 40 years to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed for them to get there in 40 days.
Mm-hmm.
But due to their disobedience, Big P, and it's about, the Big P. I used to do music, and it was on the verge of really, really, really breaking. And I believe if it would have broke, I definitely wouldn't be the man I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just certain places that God won't allow you to go when you're chosen for certain things. I've never done a drug, never done alcohol, never smoked a cigarette. It's a lot of things I just wouldn't do in life. And it's kind of, that way made me think about you when you were saying about, you was always, shout out to Kut Different.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's just something within you that you different.
Mm-hmm.
The clubbing and it just never did nothing for me. You know what I mean? And I just believe we cut different, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? When you cut different, you're going to have different beliefs in life.
Yes, sir.
This is the portion of the segment we're going to play a game called Fill in the Blank.
Yes, sir.
You answer quickly, precisely, the first thing come to mind, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've always wanted to
go to Africa.
Why Africa?
I don't know, motherland, man. I want to be able to touch the motherland, pick up the sand, and feel it. You know what I mean? Embrace the motherland. So it just knowing, that's the roots. So I just always wanted to go back there.
You gonna jump on the line back, go for a ride?
No, I ain't gonna do all that.
Okay. I love when someone
succeeds.
If I had to do it all over again, I would.
Do it the same, I don't know. And if I had to do it all over again, turn up some more.
My favorite holiday is
Christmas.
It aggravates me when people
lie.
The best quality someone can have is
being good to others. Whatever one word you can put that in.
My childhood crush was
childhood crush. That's a good one. I had a couple of them, man. Childhood crush. think you asked questions
You
like
better
that.
say the wife.
Yeah, but she wasn't child. I ain't met her. Well, I guess that was childhood. But he wasn't. I wouldn't even think about no. I would think about like some celebrity or something.
Well, you can go celebrity.
Yeah, that's what I had a couple on back in the day. I can't think of them right now. When I think of childhood, bro.
He ain't had no real crushes.
Nah,
He can't think of that thing, man. That thing. Who was it, Rudy?
Rudy.
Halle Berry?
I definitely like Halle. I used to like Queen Latifah too. I had things that was crazy.
Okay.
But,
shout out to Queen Latifah, man.
Man, I don't know. I guess I ain't really. I'm gonna go with you. I guess I really ain't have one. I can't think of nobody's name that just come to mind. I guess.
My favorite movie is.
I don't have a favorite movie either. I just like movies. I don't got no favorite movie.
My favorite food is.
I just like food. Steak.
So long. Have you ever had a
Ribeye?
Ribeye. You're a ribeye man. Okay. If you could go back to any age, it would be.
Probably around 18. Go back to college. Go back to and do it over again. When I first went out to college, I think I left a lot of money on the table by lack of being prepared for it. You know what I mean? I went to college and I was a football player, not knowing I got a whole college campus with doctors and lawyers and a lot of connections that I just left out of there. I just stuck with who I knew. I ain't branch off and network throughout the whole campus. So if I can go back to college, I can run it up.
Jesus is
King. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is everything.
The first time I meet someone, the first thing I notice is
energy. I'm big on energy.
If I could ask God any question, it would be.
Ooh, that would be crazy. If I could ask God any question.
Why am I cut different?
Yeah, why am I cut? I do ask God that a lot. I do ask myself that. I be like, why me sometimes? Like I think about that. Knowing, growing up, and I'm pretty sure you think of this yourself, growing up in Ocala and just knowing or seeing, cats you literally grew up with, just going so many directions. And, you was able, for myself, I was able to, stay on the narrow path. I always, sometimes ask God, like, man, why me? Just knowing why you give me this? You know what I mean? So even like with family, because you could say, well, you had, your dad, but I'm even talking like family. Like we grew up under the same, being at grandma's house, doing the same structure. You know what I mean? What I was being taught, you was being taught. You know what I mean? But for some way you went the other way.
If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dinner with anyone, dead or alive. I might do Robert Smith right now. Robert Smith, he's the richest black man in the world. I think his last name Smith, Robert. But he's the richest black man in the world.
Okay. The single most important lesson you learned from your parents is?
Single most important lesson I learned from my parents. Taught me so much. Be a man of your word. I say that's kind of a man. Just be a man of your word.
And one of the things I want to say throughout this process, this been 2 months in the making, this podcast, and you always communicated. And to be a young man, to be such a great man of integrity and promptness is so important.
Appreciate that.
When it came to the time, I didn't have to wonder would you show up. Sometimes people cancel, sometimes it's last minute cancel. And I understand certain things happen. But when you was not able to meet that date, you always call me beforehand. And I think communication is important. I appreciate that from you, sir.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for being able to move it back today.
Okay, this is the part of the show, the last part of the show, where you, Jamie Gilmore Jr., get to ask me, William Robinson, anything.
Okay. And I pretty much got my questions off through the interview.
I was thinking about that when we was asking.
Got it off through the interview. But I ask you this, man, just what what keeps you going? Like, what drives you?
My obedience to the Lord and just my faith is something for me. You know, I didn't understand, like I was telling you earlier, I didn't understand, well, Lord, how me doing a podcast gonna help me provide for my family. You know, and I still don't know. Mm-hmm. But I know in my heart I'm doing what he told me to do. So I just continue to walk in faith, man, and just be obedient. And I believe in the end it's gonna all work out.
Yeah, I like that. So even with because that's a big thing. So coming from your situation, and I'm pretty sure there is a pressure to provide, because for feeling okay, I lost this much time. You know what I mean? Do you think, are you trying to make up for time?
I don't think so. I believe it is what it is. I know that I can't. Mm-hmm. And I always, I believe that's where people fall short when they try to make up things. You know, maybe with my kids, maybe, I try, what I'm saying? And sometimes it's not always the best situation because they are adults now, mm-hmm. And everybody to each his own, you know what I mean? But I kind of live in the moment. I'm a very focused person. When I'm into this, it's like, you remember the movie Biker Boy?
Biker Boy.
When Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh yeah. When my buddy died with the bike hit him, right?
Yeah. And And when he get back to the finish line, everything is zoomed out. He just get tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. I'm very tunnel vision when I'm into things. I'm super focused, and I'm just saturating myself into this podcast, man. I wake up, I don't punch no clock, but every morning I put out reels and everything. So I wake up at 5 something every morning just to be able to push the reels out. So when people wake up, when you're on your way to work, when you stop and get your coffee, you can see this message that I'm portraying, mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, that I'm trying to promote to the world, which is love, mm-hmm. and communication. Mm-hmm. And so it's constant, and I'm constant learning. So it's like a never ending thing for me because of from where I come from and not knowing anything, and I'm constantly learning,
Yeah. My last one for you. What's your biggest regret?
Not being there to raise my kids. But like I tell my kids, I say, Daddy wasn't there. I say, but I'm a better daddy now. The one that was old enough to remember. I say, how good of a dad was I if I never went to church, if I never told you about Jesus? Mm-hmm. See, now I know Jesus. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're young, and they might push back a little bit, but I feel like when I stand before Jesus Christ, I know I did my job. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I was able to share my wisdom, his wisdom that he has given me with them.
Yeah. Nah, that's big. That's big, man. So I'm just for myself, man, I'm gonna give you flowers, dog. Like I say, so many people can be judged, if they passed and what they've done. Even knowing you did 20 years, it's funny because I was a black man do that bunch of time. I'm constantly like, this man was moving weight or something, Yeah. But your situation was different. But the ability to be able to learn from the mistake you made and be able to come out here and really try to spread love, and put love into this world and fill the world, like you say, waking up every day with the literally the mission is to give people, you just say you want to wake up and give them a positive message before they get on their way, man. That message, that type of direction, that type of vision is going to take you way beyond what you can see, because your focus is not yourself. It ain't about you. Even when it comes to, money, everybody, that's what they always thinking about. A lot of people always try to say, and it gets under my skin when you hear somebody say, it ain't about the money. Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? Most things be about the money because the conversation you probably having in that moment is about money. And you talk about it ain't about the money, but it is. But for you to be able to see the vision in this, even we sitting in your studio, you get what I'm saying, and you got to be able to see the next studio. You know what I mean? You got to be able to see beyond where we at right now. And this even from the time I met you, I know this wasn't the setup. You know what I mean? You built to this, so you got to be able to see the next one, to be able to wake up and see you waking up, getting in your car, or if it's at your home or whatever, and going to that place. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself, man. So many times in this space, I envision myself and like things happen. So like the video you seen with the boys in the suits and all, I had already, that was a vision of mine. I seen that already. So when I get in the moments, it's like I already been here before. And I play stuff out like that so many times.
You know what's strange, Jamie, is that when I left, there was no such word as a podcast, to my understanding. And in my last 3-4 months, I kept hearing podcasts as I'm meditating. And it was a lot when I was fasting and meditating. As I read the word and I lay there, the word podcast kept, what is a podcast? And, you know, and he knew this situation. He knows all things. You know, I'm disabled. I can't physically go and work. You know, I fell. Since I've been home, I fell and broke my leg, ruptured the ligaments in my ankle. I'm 300 pounds. You know what I mean? And I can't. I've always been a workout man. I always go jump rope. I've been known for racing people. I was a big guy, but I would race you. I would trick you. You know, I would get you coming from college, thinking you Mr. Jamie Gilmore. I said, man, how many steps you gonna give me? Oh, fat boy, I give you 5 steps, and
out of the.
I handle it. Take off. They ain't never seen it before. You know, so I always been super athletic, even as a bigger man. You know, and my situation is so humbling for me. You know, that I can't provide. I can't do things. Sometimes I watch my 3-year-old nephew walk down the steps with something in his hand, and I want to, hey, I'm thinking he's going to fall because I'll fall. You understand what I'm saying? But he's running with it. You know what I mean? I can't even do what this 3-year-old boy do. You know what I mean? And when we talked about the money, you know, and I remember when I was starting this, you know, I was talking to someone, they were like, well, how you going to make money? I was like, man, I'm doing it because God said do it. I don't know nothing about at the time, I didn't know nothing about no monetizing and I don't know much, but, you know, I've learned the word and, you know, certain things that happen, but I do it from my heart. You understand what I'm saying? And I want to give a shout out to Urban Style Barbers, man, for donating, man, cameras to me. You know, I got a partner, Jeffrey Wade, man, brought these cameras for me. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that. You know, I don't get many donations. I'm just gonna push. I'm gonna push, and I believe if I'm right in the middle of God's will, when the wheel stops spinning, it's gonna be where I need to be. You know what I mean?
It's gonna work out.
Okay, Mr. Gilmore, I want you to look into this camera over my shoulder here.
Yes, sir.
And I want to give your final thoughts to my audience. Give them your information, how to contact you. Let them know about your organization and ways that they can be involved in this. If they want to support your program, give my audience everything they need to know, sir.
Yes. So, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping into this episode, man, with the great William Robinson, man. So if you're on this platform already, I know that you're in a space of where you're trying to do better or be better. So with my platform, Kut Different, you can find us on YouTube. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be watching this on YouTube or wherever you watch it. Go over to Kut Different with a K, K-U-T Different Inc. And you'll be able to find our YouTube. Please subscribe to that. You can go to our Facebook, Kut Different Inc. or our Instagram, Kut Different _Inc. And as well as our website, KutDifferent.org. KutDifferent.org. And you go through our website. We got all different ways of which you can support us and do different things for us through our website, man. But just tap into what we got on. Tap into something positive. If it ain't us, if it ain't this platform, just do something for yourself each and every day. Wake up to be a better person, man. So I love y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is your host, William Robinson, coming at you live from the studios of TLC. We want to thank our special guest, Jamie Gilmore Jr., for joining us today. Hey, we Kut Different over here. That's right, we're going to support this young man and these gentlemen. Y'all go check his Instagram, his Facebook, his TikTok, his YouTube. Go check him out, man. He's doing an amazing work in our community right here in Ocala, Florida. You can support this channel with Cash App. Anybody love you with a U. TLC Robinson on Facebook and Instagram, Talk Love Communication, TikTok and YouTube. Also, we have PayPal at Robinson74William@gmail.com. And don't forget, if nobody told you they love you today, William Robinson loves you.